Okay, hi everyone on Facebook. We're here at City Gate with Main Point Women of Faith. I just have one announcement. We are looking for speakers. In fact, I need a speaker for next week. So no pressure on anybody, but if there's anybody who wants to share next Wednesday, let me know ASAP. So I think that's the only announcement that I have. And thanks to Dawn and Bev who helped last week when I wasn't here. I appreciate them stepping up and getting things together for us. So I heard that everything went well, so I'm just glad to hear that. And no technical difficulties or anything. So yeah, praise God for that. So our speaker tonight is Heidi Anderson, and she's going to make her way up here. And I'm just going to say, oh, your shoes are so cute. Wow. Yeah. All right, I'll get this out of your way. Now I'm just going to say a prayer for you, and all right, and if you want to put stuff down there, you can. Okay. All right. Okay, well, Father God, thank you so much for Heidi, and we just are blessed by her being in our group every week, and to see the way you've worked in her life is exciting. So we just pray for her right now. Take away any nervousness that she might be feeling, and just let your word flow through her. And we give you the honor and the glory in what you've been doing in her life up until now, and also we give you glory for what you're going to continue to do in her life, because I know there's exciting things for her future. You have exciting things in store for her. So we just give you the honor and the glory for everything that you've done and are doing. We love Heidi a lot, and we know that she loves you. So we just ask these things in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. Thank you. Amen. So I did write some things down, and first of all, I'm going to talk about a breakthrough that I recently had, and one of the reasons why I hadn't shared yet. I had, my whole life I've been striving. Help me, Lord, to
Take your time.
To meet a standard, and not for God, but for man. And so I'm kicking that out the door today. You know, so this is a challenge for me, but because I've been delivered of that, I can do this, because it's not about me, it's about him. And I am so grateful for all that he's done in my life, my whole life, through everything I went through before I came here. He was walking with me. I've been walking with the Lord since, when I was young, my grandmother taught me about Jesus. And I had the Lord's Prayer memorized by the time I was 5. But I really didn't know what it all meant. I just knew Jesus loved me. And she modeled that. But I lost her when I was 8. And at that time, I lost my dad too, because my dad was very much dependent on her, codependent, kind of enabling. And so then he was out of my life for the most part, and I just kept trying to find my dad, and I would find him, and then he would turn me away, and then so I always thought that if I could just be better, then he'd want me. hear that that's not what it's about. Um, so, yeah, I'll start with, I'll talk about my childhood a little bit, and, um, and this is for Jesus, my King. Um, when my mom was pregnant with me, um, well, my mom saved my life before I was even born because her mother pretty much gave her an option: either get an abortion or leave. um, uh, no disrespect to my grandmother, she just didn't know any better. So uh, she's a different woman now. My mom's mom. But at the time, my mom was 15, and she moved in with my dad and my Grammy, the one that taught me about Jesus. And so they got married and they started a life, and it was good. But then alcoholism was a generational thing in our family. So my dad really went down that road, and he started to be abusive to my mom. It only lasted twice, and my mom left because she had watched her mom be abused her whole childhood. So she said, no, I'm not going to do this. And that was it. And then my dad would see me on the weekends and stuff, but like I said, my grandmother died, and then that just changed. And then my mom really spent a lot of my childhood trying to find herself. And she was very into self. She didn't have the Lord. She was striving, trying to meet the standards of our family, very high standards. And she did very well, but I was just kind of on the sidelines. I wasn't seen. I don't have any brothers and sisters, um, and I spent a lot of time trying to find the Lord in other things. Once I stopped learning about Jesus' love, I didn't really know what I was looking for, or how to find it. My mom was looking for a husband, and she just wanted someone to help her raise me. And so she met my stepfather, and when I was 12, sexual abuse came in. And it was brief because I attempted suicide, and I nearly died. But my mother came, and she was the one who called the hospital, or got me to the hospital. My stepdad, he was trying to abuse me, and why I was overdosed on these pills. But she came and she called and she got me to the hospital. So the Lord has helped me to see that my mom really, like, before I held like kind of a grudge against her, because I thought, well, why did that happen? But now I have a God perspective, and she saved me, and so then the abuse stopped after that, and we moved, and everything was happy for a little while, but I wasn't. I was very lonely. I spent a lot of time in my room, just wanting to find something to fill that void. And I got into, when I was 14, I started to get into drugs. LSD before anything. I just wanted to find that, I wanted to fill that void, and I wanted to find God. And I didn't know how to do that. So soon after that, my stepdad abused me one more time, and I started to run away from home. And so I was 14 then, and I ran away 15 times from home. And finally my mom said, okay, you can go. She emancipated me, signed me out of school, and said, okay, see ya. And so I was left to my own devices and just kind of like, okay, well, I had my first love. I moved in with him and his family, and they were raging alcoholics. And I was pregnant with my daughter, and I had her when I was 17, and it was good. It was really good that, you know, it was, all my children are healthy. I have 4 children, and but the abuse was bad. There was a lot of physical abuse. While I was pregnant, especially with my son, who I had when I was 19, yeah, I used to hide from him with the kids, and so then it began. The 30 years of my adulthood, it was 5 relationships, and the abuse just got worse and worse. And the drugs and the alcohol, they went to the wayside for a while. I just wanted to raise my children, and I wanted to be a good mom, and my mom didn't do stuff like that. So I thought, well, that's how a good parent is. You know, you don't do that kind of stuff. And then it was, well, at least you don't do it around your kids. So I started doing it, just hiding from my family. And yeah, I was able to do it for a while, but I couldn't keep up the facade, and things fell apart. I got, you know, I rededicated my life to the Lord when I was 25, and I was married then to my son Sebastian's dad. And so it was great. I mean, it was the Lord, just the blessings, the people, the fellowship, they just gathered around us, and you know, it really, I thought, this is going to be good. You know, I'm going to raise my kids right. And once again, abuse. Severe mental abuse, more than anything. And then it started to happen to my kids. He was started to mentally abuse my kids. Once his son was born, then my kids were not good enough. You know what I mean? Like, they kind of got put on the back burner, and I said, no, I'm leaving. But this time, I was walking with the Lord. Well, I fell out of fellowship, and I went down a really dark path and I had Sebastian, Bailey, and CJ, and I just went down a really dark path of heavy drugs. The Lord had me. The Lord, it's amazing I'm alive. And it's only Him, because I spent hours on my hands and knees praying, Lord, please, just, I don't want to die. I don't want my kids to find me this way, because I was using drugs intravenously, heavy duty stuff. The man that I was with, my youngest son's father, he had a really bad drug problem. He wasn't abusive to me, like, he didn't hit me or put me down or anything, but he introduced me to a lot of really bad things and bad people, and I did not know the seriousness of what I was getting into. So things went bad for a while, and then the Lord, I mean, I never stopped talking to the Lord. He was always there, and He always kept me from dying. I mean, He is so good, and He just loves us so much, you know, and the joy of the Lord is my strength. So I do believe that God will use for good all that the enemy has stolen. And he is. So I got out of that. I got back on my feet again. I was doing really good for a few years, but I had gone to a program that was not Christ-centered. I still had my faith, and I did Bible studies there with the girls, and it was really cool to see women come into the Lord. But at that time is when I had gotten my first DUI, and that's when the prison stays started happening, because I just couldn't keep myself to get to appointments. I don't know, you know. I don't know. I was in denial. I really was. And I just kept moving forward. But every time I went to the prison, I said, Lord, just use me here. You know, I know that I deserve to be here. Use me. Bring someone in my path that I can teach about you, or someone that will teach me more about you. And he was always faithful. He brought a lot of women into my life in the prisons. And so I really thought, once I completed my probation and I went through the drug court program and got I did very well. And but I was doing it in my own strength. And I fell. I once again got away from fellowship, and the last relationship was bad, and it lasted 9 years. And it was every day methamphetamines, just about, and then it became alcohol. And I found out I had Hep C, which I'm cured now. I don't have that anymore. Praise God. The liver damage was done. It had already affected my liver. And the Lord is redeeming that. My mentor, Juanita, she had said to me, not that long ago, I said, well, my liver has scarring. And she said, we all have scars, Heidi. You know, and it changed my view on that. And the last time I was at the doctor called me. He said, I don't know, you know, like it was almost impossible, but he said that it's not severe, you know. So praise God, and I'm very grateful. And there is restoration right now with my family. But like there was a lot of fear with my family because of the whole striving, and it just seemed like in my life it was like, oh, well, how's Heidi doing? Is she doing good now? Is she doing better now? And it was like, if I wasn't good, then it was a lot of talk about me and everybody, you know. And then it went to my kids. They would tell my kids things, and a lot of it was just not good. It really, my kids were upset with me, and you know, which they had a right to be in a lot of ways. But my family has made it worse, I believe. But once again, what the enemy meant for evil, God is using for good. And he has just, my last day at the Lancaster County Prison was August of 2022. I was in my cell, and some paperwork fell on the floor, and it was for the Potter's House of Ruth. And I read it, and I said, this is everything I've been praying for, you know, because I really wanted out of my situation. It was an abusive relationship, and I just wanted to start over. and I wanted to be Christ-centered, this program I came to, and it was just everything that I had prayed for. And so as soon as I came home, I called and I spoke to my director at the time, Julie Reed, and she loved me more than anybody. I feel like Julie loves me more than anybody ever has in my whole life besides Jesus. Everyone else, I lost everyone and everything. I felt that way anyway. And so when I walked, and I forgot to say, in 2017, when I was at the prison, again for a second DUI, the Lord spoke to me. He said, "This is where I want you to be, on the other side." And so it took me a few years to be obedient, and he had said, he made it clear to me in the time, like before I had gotten a hold of the Potter's House, he said, "I can't use you if you're broken like this. You can't go to the prisons and help women. You can't. Like, you need to be better. You need to get better, Heidi. And then I can use you in this." Like, I know the Lord can use us wherever we're at, but I do believe that he told me, he made it clear to me that he couldn't use me the way I was. And so that is why I came here and to the Potter's House of Ruth. And I have gotten so much healing. When I walked through that door, I couldn't hold my head up. I couldn't breathe right. I had done so much damage to my liver, to my septum. I couldn't even sing anymore because of the drugs. And I was healed. I was healed for that. So praise God. And that was in the beginning. That was like a month into it. So he gave me back what I lost. He's restoring all that the locusts have stolen. And I am so grateful. You know, there's so many things that the Lord did and does for me every day. And this journey gets better and better. And I'm just excited for what he's going to do in my future, what he's doing now, and what the future holds for me. I'm interning at the house now, and I'm doing house manager position. And I feel so blessed, and I get to work with these women that really say I'm their leader. Like, I didn't even know that. You know, last week Danette had said to me, "Heidi, when you're at the table, we feel complete. You are our leader." And that really just touched my heart, what the Lord is doing through me. And I'm just like, bring it on. I want more, Papa. You know, I just want to be obedient. I want to always stay desperate to be obedient. And I just love him so much. Yeah, it's an honor. It's an honor that he's working in my life, and I'm so grateful for that. So, I wanted to read Proverbs 31:25. Okay. She is clothed with strength and dignity, and she laughs without fear of the future. Amen. That's a life verse for me, and I'm so grateful to him. and I just want to honor him in all I do. So thank you.
Wow, Heidi, you did such a good job. That was amazing. Wow. Well, you're letting him speak through you, though. Yeah. Well, I don't know. I'm a little teary-eyed. Does anybody have any questions or comments or anything for Heidi?
I do. I just want to hear. You're amazing. But I just want to say that, we're told to give thanks in all things. And while you're going through all of that horrible stuff you went through, how could you give thanks? But look now. Now you can give thanks for it because that is what brought you to be a leader with other women. And that's what brought you and enabled you to talk about Jesus and his love here. And I thank him that you went through that.
I do too, because there's purpose in our pain.
Yes. That's right.
And I'm learning. I've learned that. I'm still learning.
And as we obey, he gives us the desires of our heart, which is happening for you. Sorry. And that is so neat to see. But, when we were talking about discouragement earlier, don't get discouraged by some of these things that we go through, because if we trust him and obey, he will bring the good out of what we think was bad, and he'll give us the desires of our heart. He's faithful, like you said a couple times, he's faithful. So, there was a lot in what you said. Anyone else? Comments or?
It has been absolutely
beautiful
to see.
Give
You
her
to come
to
up.
someone.
Yeah, but if she turns around and looks out the window, that's what I'm afraid. Okay, that's what I look
We have a special visitor that came to see Heidi.
Oh.
He's not behaving as well.
Yeah, a special visitor. Named after Grace.
Yeah.
And she isn't being a good listener at all. You're not coming next time. It's just been so beautiful to watch the Lord's hand at work. Because when we had gotten, we got the call. I got the call from Heidi, and the Lord would always just say right away, like, actually, I got her application, and it was done in five different colors, 10 different writings, and I just opened it, and tears just ran down my face, because I remember too being in that spot, and she was diligent, so if she could only do 2 minutes that day, she did it. And then however long, she'd be talking to the Lord, she'd pick up that paper and she'd do it again. And I'm going through her application, and I'm just weeping, and I already know, he's saying, this is my girl, bring her ASAP. And I called her. She wasn't still ready yet, but he'd tell me, call her today, text her today, just stay diligent. She's gonna come when I tell her, say no more. So we did that, and the moment we got her, it was just breathtaking. His hand on her life, and just watching him heal her from the inside out, has been just absolutely breathtaking. And seeing his hand all over her children, and how rapid he is just working in them and bringing it all together. It's such an honor for us to have sisters like all of you guys do. Because we love you. And you, Papa's so proud of you. So proud of you. We love you.
I'm proud of you too.
Keep rocking and shining, honey.
You taught me to be God dependent.
That's it. That's how we roll, right? We're here for the King. We're gonna bling and sing and ring. We're gonna ding, ding, ding. That's our Papa God, and He's our one true boo, and He always comes through.
Amen. Yes, he
She's
does.
gonna get a rhyme going.
I love you.
I love you too.
Love you more, dude. You did awesome.
You did awesome. Just
I think so.
the whole you said about striving to meet a standard, you know, and we kind of talked about that tonight about the people pleasing. You felt like you had to strive to be what they wanted you to be, I guess, right?
Yeah. And I thought that then I would be accepted.
Right.
If I would meet their standard. And well,
Yeah, we don't have to meet their standard, and it took me a long time to learn that too. It's His standard,
that's
nobody
right.
else.
That's
Doesn't
right.
matter what people think. But it's hard to get through that.
He is a gentleman and he doesn't rush or ram.
That's
Right,
it.
exactly. Yep.
Yes.
That's right. Good point. What else? The other thing that I connected with was you didn't feel seen.
Right.
See, I was an only child too. I didn't know you were an only child.
Yeah.
But in my childhood, that was a thing for me that I didn't find out until not that long ago. That the reason I did some of the things I did is because as a child I didn't feel seen, and I carried that into my marriage and adulthood, and finally, thankfully, God revealed it to me. So, pray for revelation. If there's something in your life that you don't understand why you do what you do, pray for God to reveal, and He will. Because the way He revealed it to me was, it had to be Him. It wasn't anything else. It had to be God. So, you know, as encouragement to everyone else on Facebook or here, just pray for revelation.
Yes.
And the whole fill the void thing with the drugs and alcohol that you did, you're not alone in that either.
But one thing I learned like over the last several months is I was looking to fill that void, and I was looking for the Lord in all that.
That's what
really
it is.
You know.
Yes.
Yeah. So.
Because there is a quote that we all have a hole in our heart that only God can fill, and He created us that way.
Yeah.
He wants us to want Him, and He created us with that vacuum or that void inside, so that we search for Him.
Right.
But again, it's like the old song, searching for love in all the wrong places. Here we are. We're trying to fill that void with everything under the sun, you know, and it's Him that we need. So if anybody out there is feeling that emptiness and you're trying to fill it with everything you can think of, it's Jesus that you're looking for. So talk to somebody, connect with us, whether you're male or female, we can, you know, if you're male, we can connect you with somebody. So reach out, for sure, because you went through a lot trying to fill that. And a lot of us have gone through many things trying to fill that and find contentment.
He was always there. It's one thing that no one could take from me was Jesus.
That's right. Yeah, that's right. And how, you know, you mentioned that several times you should have died, but He had a purpose. He had a purpose for your life. He has a purpose for each one of us.
Right.
And we all have scars. I love that.
Yeah.
We all have scars somewhere, whether it's physical. A lot of us have emotional scars. We could even have scars from religion. There's all kinds of different scars. And I think you said desperate obedience. Wow, that says it all right there. You know, may we all have that. You know, may we all want that desperate obedience.
And I want to stay. I always want that to stay part of me.
Yeah, that's amazing. And how you said when you were in prison and the papers about the House of Ruth just fell on the floor. They just fell on the floor.
Yeah.
Who do you think was behind all that?
Right.
That's how he works, you know. So
It
keep
was
your
a gift. As I was sitting in that cell, it was like, praise God. You know, it was definitely a gift from him.
Yeah, so be mindful of things that you might think are papers just falling on the floor. Look for the little things because that's how he works. You know, sometimes it's not the major things, it's the little things, and we want to be aware of that. So it's great to hear about the restoration of your health and your family. Yeah, see, this is what God does. You know, redeeming and restoration are his business. That's why Jesus came, to redeem us, restore us, and he's still in that business. So thanks for testifying to that, because that gives other people hope.
Yeah.
And I think what we need in our world right now is more hope.
Definitely.
So
Definitely. So I hope to get back into the prisons and start ministry.
You're going to be amazing.
and you'll be on this side this time.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's great.
So the Lord is opening doors. He is, you know, and it's so evident it's Him. That's a beautiful thing when you know it's Him. You know.
That's right.
May I speak into that?
Yeah.
Out of Philippians 4, and I'm going to just modify it to you better. It says, don't worry about anything. Instead, pray about everything. Tell God what you need, Heidi, and thank Him for all that He's done. Then you will experience God's peace, which you testified to tonight. It's going to exceed anything that you can understand. His peace will guard your heart and your mind as you live in Christ Jesus.
Amen.
Amen.
That's a good blessing ending.
Yes. That's perfect.
Yeah, great. Thank you for sharing.
Thank you for sharing.
Yeah, and we're so glad you're a part of our group.
I'm so glad too.
And we hope that you stay a part of our group, even as you
Yes, for sure.
move on with other things.
Yeah, you're my family.
Yes, yes, that's great. I'm glad you feel like that.
And God shows His love for me through all of you. And that I'm very grateful for.
Yeah, well, thank you so much for being courageous to come and share, because it's not easy. I get that. Yeah, but
I had to
he'll
come
use your
and brag
story.
on Papa. I had to
That's
brag
right,
on
yes.
him
We
because
have
he's
to-
so good.
We have to tell. We have to tell what he's doing and what he's done.
Yes.
So, yeah, thank you so much.
Thank
And
you.
we do need somebody next week. So even if your story's not going to be exactly like Heidi, it's not going to be exactly like anybody else's. And you know, she had a lot of things happen, but there's something about that you've been faithful. You know, that maybe your story doesn't have all the things that Heidi's story has in it, but even if you were raised in church and you remained faithful, that's a story. That's your story. And God kept you from things or protected you from things, but so think about sharing and let me know. Did we have any comments on Facebook? No?
I have something to say.
Okay, good.
Heidi, we love you at the house. And you have set such an example for me of where I want to be when I graduate. I love you.
I love you.
Yes, I'm just going to say I'm very proud of you.
Yes.
You've come so far, and God has just used you in amazing ways.
God be the glory.
Yes.
That's right. That's right.
It's come a long way since I came to the house in August last year. And because of her graduating too, I'm about to be graduating, so I look up to her still. And I'm so glad. Never let me go.
Yeah, Julie doesn't let
Never
anybody
let
go.
go.
That's right.
I'll never forget that.
She's down.
And once they catch us, I will let go. go. That's it.
Okay, well, let me give you a hug. Thank you so much. Love you so much.
I love you too.
Okay.
So much.
All right, thank you. Okay, good night, everyone. We'll be back next week.